Welcome back to the No Clue Podcast, episode 156. We have returned.
Yeah, I've returned.
A little break. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Mike.
I'm Tyler. Welcome. Football season is here.
Dude.
Football season is here.
Going through the preseason, I was ready.
Yeah.
Because the preseason, it was shorter and just nobody takes it seriously.
Yep.
But sitting there for like a couple months without any sports thing to really grasp was tough.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely. But I mean, football season as far as exciting games started pretty quickly. You know, it hit the ground running for sure.
That first game, I thought it would suck, to be honest, but Dak Prescott said, "Nah."
Yeah,
I'm healthy, and he looked like it.
He looked really, really good, really good. You want to start with those two teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they set the tone for the season, and in hindsight, it was a great opening game.
It was.
Cowboys were really competitive. Tampa Bay was a little sloppy, but they showed flashes of what makes them so great.
Yep.
But it was funny because prior to the season, I heard a lot of hype around them not losing a game.
Mm-hmm.
And watching that first game, I'm like, dude, they're not going undefeated.
Right.
Just like last year, prior to the playoffs, they didn't look that great.
No, they didn't.
They were very inconsistent. They'll dominate one week and then severely struggle another week.
Yep.
I think, maybe it won't be quite as much struggling this year. But somebody's going to catch him on a random week where, Brady's sore or a couple guys are missing. And I think a couple teams will be able to beat him this year.
I think so, too. I agree with that. But it's tough because they still look really, really, really good.
Teams will beat them in the regular season. I don't think anybody's beating them in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep. And Antonio Brown. I mean, he's back. Like, yeah, he looks good. Really, really good.
And he's locked in. We're not hearing nonsense. He's locked in on football. That's all I wanted.
Yeah. And the thing is, when they picked him up last year, it was almost like he was just a kind of like a token weapon. Like they had him, but we're probably not going to throw it to him, but just kind of spread the defense. But now, I mean, he's a target. I mean, he's such first, second, third target. Yeah.
He's such a threat, and like you forget how elite he was for such a long time.
Yeah.
And he was really the best receiver for a good, at least like a 3-year stretch to me.
Yeah, solid 3 years. Yeah. Yep. He was definitely top 3, probably for 5 years. So
it's just Tampa Bay is so crazy because, again, we knew they brought everybody back.
Yeah.
But seeing them come off a Super Bowl and walk into week 1 with almost the exact same roster.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, the NFC has no hope.
Yeah.
No hope. Tampa Bay is essentially flawless.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't think they're going to be invincible all year just because they're not very consistent. And Arians has been like that, their coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Brady kind of slips towards the second half of the season a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But it's not going to matter.
And even though they have everybody back, they're still an aging roster. But I mean,
I don't know, because the 2 oldest guys on the team look like they're getting better.
Yeah, it's true.
Everybody's talking about Brady being like an MVP candidate, and he looks good.
Yep.
Dude, Gronk looks like he hasn't aged in 5 years.
Yep. I mean, he does. Seriously,
I never thought that Gronk would look this great.
Yeah, me either.
He really, like, watching that week 1, especially that fourth quarter. Like, dude, Travis Kelce's been good for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's been this. Yeah, I don't know if he's been this good.
Yeah. It's tough. And Gronk is just a beast.
He's such a target.
It's like I think Kelce is better, but Gronk is more unstoppable, you know?
Yeah, Kelsey's technically better, but Gronk is like has more of a takeover like feel
Yep.
to his game.
Yep, he does. Absolutely. Oh, so let's talk about Dallas. Um, Dak, 403 yards. I mean,
Week
he's
one really
putting it out
showed
there.
how awful their coaching is, and week two did also.
Yep.
Uh, but that
But they
first
both,
week,
what? Go ahead.
just the first week, I never could have imagined Dak, who not only did he come off of a major surgery from last year,
Mm-hmm.
he had a bunch of stuff wrong with him throughout the preseason.
Yep.
So I thought they would run. If Tampa Bay pulled away, it wouldn't be that big of a deal
Mm-hmm.
because it's Tampa Bay, and I think a lot of people expected Dallas to lose.
Right.
But what shocked me is how quickly, again, they said, okay, running is not working. Dak, you got to rescue us.
Right.
And again, if you had told me before the game Dak would throw 50 times, I would have said you're drunk.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. As the game is going on, I'm like, yo, Dak looks the healthiest, the freshest, the most like energetic member of the team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that impressed me as far as Dak goes individually.
Mm-hmm.
But it just shows how poorly coached they are.
Because I agree, because their roster is there. I mean,
For sure.
they have it all. I mean, Ezekiel, I still don't know what's going on with him, but that the other guy, Tony Pollard, looks great. CD Lamb looks great.
Tony Pollard
Amari
looks like a
Cooper,
starter.
he does. Amari Cooper looks great. I mean, their defense is doing well.
Making plays.
Yeah, I mean, they have everything any coach would dream of having. Seriously.
If we had just recapped week one, I wouldn't have been very negative about the Cowboys because, again, they battled. Dak was just incredible.
Yep.
I'm not really surprised they couldn't get Zeke going because he doesn't look that good to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the league is passing him by.
In year 3.
Right. He looks slow. Like he looks like he's gotten slower 3 straight years. Does he not?
Yeah, he does.
I heard all this shit about it being like his most elite off season, which is bullshit, by the way, because Big Ben said that too, and he looks disgusting.
Yeah.
But it's like, yo, you have no speed.
Yep.
I haven't seen him outrun a defensive player one time.
No.
Tony Pollard's been doing that every play.
Right now, Cam Newton looks like a better running back than
for sure. Yeah, and now he's not really running through people like he used to.
No, he's not.
Again, it looks like defenders have figured him out.
Yeah.
So it's just frustrating.
Yeah, it just shouldn't happen that quick in a career. He looking back now, I mean, it's actually it's his 5th year, I think, or 4th year. And he's had fifth, and he's had
because he had that 1 year. I think 2. He had 2 good years.
He had 1 elite year, and I'll say the other one was just good. And
that's fair.
Ever since then, it's just been, obviously he's dealt with injuries, but not that enough many for him to be. Yeah, I was gonna say not enough at his age for him to have such a decline.
Yeah, and it's like normally I try to kind of look at the teams, some of the things the team is doing maybe differently.
Yeah.
But they're still trying to look like they're a run-first team.
Yep.
And it only looks good when Tony Pollard is out there.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, week 1, good battle against the defending champs. Don't have much negative to say.
Right.
Week 2 against the Chargers. Now, I watched this game because the Chargers really impressed me week 1, playing Washington, got a good win.
Mm-hmm.
They actually closed the game, which is something they couldn't do last year.
Mm-hmm.
Herbert was like, he was like 80% on third down.
Yep.
It was just some ridiculous stat. But
He looks
so,
great already, by the way.
so I wanted to see what Herbert will do against the defense, if they're legit or not. And both of these teams tried so hard to lose this game.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, I could literally have a podcast individual episode on the amount of mistakes that went on in this game.
Yep.
You don't really have to watch the game. You watch the recap, it's more penalties than highlights.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the Chargers have like 12 penalties, 11 on offense. Two times they got a touchdown and had it called back.
Yep.
In a one field goal game.
I was about to say
14 points.
Very important ones too. Yep.
Yeah, later in the second half.
Yep.
And the Chargers were messy, but they're young. They're just kind of figuring themselves out. They look pretty talented also, by the way.
Keenan Allen was eating.
Yeah, Mike Williams looks great.
Eating.
I didn't know Mike Williams was like Megatron size.
Not me either. Until I saw him against Dallas's defense. Yeah.
Right. And Jared Cook, who was one of the reasons one of their touchdowns got called back, was a good pickup for them.
Yeah, definitely.
But Dallas wasn't any better.
Yeah, they weren't.
I mean, I literally just watching this game. Let me just pull this up real quick. I wrote down some notes because I didn't want to forget some of the ridiculous 3 offsides penalties.
Yep.
By the way, your Giants threw away a game because of offsides.
I thought I established last year I'm not claiming the Giants anymore.
No, but like, okay, one time, a younger player. All right.
Yeah.
3 times?
Yeah.
How you not learn after the first time?
Yep.
Dude, they roughed the kicker on a punt and let the Chargers get a free first down.
Yep.
4th and inches. I would say 80% of the time is a quarterback sneak.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys come out the Chargers have the ball, 4th and inches. They run a quarterback sneak, and the Cowboys weren't prepared.
Yep.
Like, where's the coaching?
Good question.
Like, watching these games, and I watched both of these games, Tampa Bay and the Chargers game.
Yep.
I seriously, I need somebody to explain what Mike McCarthy does.
It looks like Dak is coaching the team most of the time.
Yeah, because Kellen Moore calls plays. Defense is, I don't know what's going on, but they're getting better, which is good.
Yeah.
Okay, Zeke maybe is regressing, but you already found a guy who could step in for him.
Yep.
And again, like, Mike McCarthy is the odd man out here.
Yeah.
Because I literally don't see anything that he impacts. And he's the head coach.
Nope. The team really doesn't look, I mean, other than having Dak, they don't look much better than they have looked in the past. To me, at least.
And that's what shocked me, because they got to experience how trash they could be without him.
Yep.
And it's like, because he got healthy, we'll be fine.
Yeah, and they're just, barely better at all.
Yeah, I mean, granted, they improved the offensive line, which is a good step in the right direction.
Yep.
But
they drafted pretty well.
But I don't know how much they improved it, because it's just guys getting healthy.
Right.
So, we'll see if that keeps up. But before I get off the Cowboys, the Chargers had 12 penalties for the game. Yep. The Cowboys had 12 penalties in the second quarter.
I didn't know that stat. That's terrible. That's gross.
I mean, Tony Romo was commenting on the game, and like, he was just disgusted.
Yeah, rightfully so.
And Tony Romo was a messy quarterback, and his Cowboys weren't this messy.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Again, Zeke is regressing year after year. You know, all they do with Zeke is run him up the middle.
That's it.
God forbid he gets a screen pass.
I mean, he almost like they've almost defaulted him to like a fullback, like one of those fullbacks that come in when everybody else is hurt kind of guys. I think like Brandon Jacobs did it for the Giants one year.
Yeah. Like the
That's kind of
bruiser running back.
yeah, that's how they use them.
But he doesn't go through anybody.
And that's the problem.
And
So they use them
so many
like
times in this Chargers game, like there was a hole where I could see a fast running back getting through and making a big play.
yeah.
Zeke just didn't make it.
Yep. Yeah.
And last point of their mistakes.
He's borderline washed, by the way. I mean, borderline. He's getting close.
He has this year to prove. If he doesn't have an elite rushing game against like somebody that's not like the Falcons,
Yeah.
like a serious team, maybe like Washington, maybe a division rival,
Yeah.
then maybe we could talk about him still being on the border.
Right. They got the Eagles next, right?
Yeah, that should be a good one.
See what he does there. Yeah.
No, but this last point, because all those mistakes I mentioned are awful, inexcusable.
Yep.
Okay, so closing minute of this game, Dak Prescott gets the ball. He's moving him down the field.
Yep.
We get to a point where they run a play. It's a run with about 35 seconds left and one timeout. They call a run. The run gets blown up. There's 31 seconds left. In those 31 seconds with that one timeout, all the Cowboys could do is literally kick a field goal. I'm not joking. When that run got blown up, everybody stood up. 29, 28, all the way down to 4 seconds. And Mike McCarthy calls a timeout, and they come out for a 56-yard field goal like that's what they meant to do.
It's insane. It's just lack of thought process.
Tony Romo's head was like exploding during the game.
Yelling to call a timeout.
He was just like, it's not even call a timeout. You could spike it and run another play.
Yeah,
you could just run a no huddle and get like a little bit. 56 yards is not an easy field goal.
No, they could have got 10 yards, and it would have been a different, completely different level of difficulty.
And the guy missed kicks in the Tampa Bay game.
Yep.
So if anything, I'll be like, yo, we really need to get a chip shot here if we can. And like Mike McCarthy literally does nothing for 27 seconds.
Yeah.
And then after the game, he has the nerve to say like he couldn't see the clock.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
Well,
dude, the Chargers just got a new arena.
That's insane, man.
$5 billion. They were talking about it as the game was starting. It's like a $5 billion arena. They're planning to have a Super Bowl there in a year or two.
It's crazy.
And Mike McCarthy in a $5 billion stadium can't find a fucking clock. And literally, Dak Prescott was like, yo, I was just looking at the end zone clock.
It's a joke. I mean, those Cowboys just will always be a joke, man.
They'll find a way.
No matter how hard, no matter how hard they play or how good they look, they're going to find a way to be a joke.
That's why it's kind of shocking to see people get excited about them. Because this Chargers win was not a good win.
Right.
I mean, if Herbert made other than a couple of mistakes, Herbert was literally every time Herbert made a mistake, he looked like a Hall of Famer the next like 10, 15 plays.
Yeah, that's what he does.
I like that about him. Yeah, he throws his first pick, 15 straight completions right after that.
Yep. Then
another pick, then he scores an easy fourth quarter touchdown after that.
Yep.
So, I don't know how I feel about the Chargers. They're like a week to week. I want to see more.
Mm-hmm.
but the Cowboys have not impressed me as far as like them being a serious contender.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think they're close to that yet.
I mean, it's fair. I mean, I agree. I agree with that though. Both with both things for sure. Both takes.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. What team you want to talk about next?
We got to talk about the Ravens.
Okay.
Eventful first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Rough loss opening, Monday night.
Very rough loss. Disgusting loss, even.
Yeah. And Monday nights now are like the pinnacle of primetime football.
Yeah, they are.
Like Sunday night is still getting the elite games, like matchup wise.
Yep. But
But
the competition on the Mondays have been on point for the last like 2 years.
Yeah, and having Peyton and Eli, I mean, I told you, man, one of the biggest W's I've seen in years.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm gonna be honest, man. I'll just say it before we get deep into it. Lamar doesn't look good to start for me. It looks like it almost looks like last 2 years, him improving as a passer. It looks like maybe he's nervous now for some reason. Like he's not making the same kind of decisions passing wise as he did last 2 years, which his decisions were questionable even last year. But now it's like he's getting to the point where he looks more hesitant even than he did last year. He doesn't look as confident. And I don't understand why. Their running game is terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
he's carrying it.
It's which is I mean, it looks cool, it's fun to watch, but it's not good. The running game is
the way
bad.
they won against the Chiefs is not a sustainable recipe to win a lot of games and then come out of the AFC or even contend in the AFC.
No. Hollywood Brown is carrying their receiving squad at this point. Sammy Watkins did well for his game, but it's just I see no other consistency out of anyone else. And that obviously part of that is Lamar, but
yeah, I'll give him a slight pass on the running the ball issues because I mean
everybody's
all this they had like an ACL tear outbreak.
Yeah.
With the running backs.
3 strings worth.
That's insane.
Yep. And Mark Ingram is gone eating. I don't know why they let him go.
It makes no sense. Yeah. In hindsight, I'm like, I think we both agreed that that's a loss, like a big loss for them.
It was.
Because the way they run with power, he was like the perfect guy for that.
And he was a great teammate. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I didn't get it, but yeah.
And it's tough, man. Like I was really excited when the rookie got hurt, or this, I think it might be a second year. I can't remember, but Gus Edwards was going to be the starter.
Yeah.
And Gus Edwards was like the best backup in the league last year.
Yep.
He averaged like 5 yards a carry. I was like, Jesus, with the way they run the ball, that's huge.
Yeah, it was going to be exciting with him out there for sure.
And then when he tore his ACL, I was just like, I mean, the same position, 2 guys from the same position in the same like 3 days or a week.
Yep.
That's tough, man. I'm impressed that they're even competitive, to be honest.
I agree. I mean, and it's really just Lamar and Marquise, Lamar and Hollywood Brown out there playing 2 on, everyone else.
Yeah.
It's rough, but they're going to have a long season. I hope they don't wear Lamar to death, wear him down to death,
Yeah, I mean, that's been a fear for the last several years to me.
Yeah.
But it's the like to your point on him getting nervous as a passer, like I don't mind, your DNA is what we saw against the Chiefs. Like that's how you play.
Yep.
I don't mind that.
Yep.
But it's the like you randomly get extremely confident and throw into triple coverage.
Yeah.
I don't want Peyton Manning, who's most accurate quarterback of all time, to throw into triple coverage.
Right.
It's one of the reasons I really like Dak is because he plays it safe.
Yeah.
So sometimes the Cowboys offense is kind of lame, but at least they're not turning the ball over.
Right.
The Chiefs defense was allowing you to move the ball all game.
Yeah.
And you still all of a sudden you stare down a guy and throw into triple coverage. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and Honey Badger had his hands on a lot of balls that he didn't even, they weren't interceptions, but
Yeah.
they very well could have been.
Yeah. He could have had an insane game. I saw at least 2 that he could have had on top of his pick six.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, it's like I'm not asking you to be an elite pocket passer guy. You've never been that. I understand that's almost impossible to change your DNA like that.
Right.
But the learning how to not even take awful chances like he's been doing, did the same thing against the Raiders.
Yep.
You just can't do that.
Yep.
And it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough if they struggle to get into the playoffs, which is going to be a real struggle because their division is good.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't want to see them throw away another postseason with just, again, a throw into triple coverage.
Yeah. I hope, they probably won't at this point, but I hope they have a miracle as far as the running situation goes. I've seen it happen where, some old washed up dude has a random resurgence. Maybe they get lucky that way, but I really don't want Lamar running. I don't want him having 15 carries a night, for the rest of the season.
And if we're gonna have 15 carries a night, let's not try to run through people.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's take the slides, get out of bounds. Like you're carrying the team right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I need someone other than Hollywood to show up. And Hollywood, by the way, still does not get enough credit for being basically the only consistent receiver Lamar's had his whole career at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's like the best receiver in the league, but when they talk about really, really good receivers, they never mention him.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because he doesn't get like targets like a lot of the top receivers.
Right.
Like even you said Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert looks for him.
Yeah.
So he's making plays, all the time. Hollywood Brown doesn't really get that.
Yeah, he doesn't get like Lamar doesn't force it to him, but for some reason Hollywood is the one who's open all the time. Like he still leads them in yards, almost every season. But it's not like it's a, they're not like the duo, like the Stephon Diggs kind of thing, where it's like,
yeah, I wish
we're going to Hollywood every time.
I kind of noticed with the Cowboys, they run like designed kind of gadget plays for CeeDee Lamb to kind of just get in the open field, make shit happen.
Yeah.
Maybe not like a running play like they do with CeeDee Lamb, but I think Hollywood Brown is capable of running screen passes, any of the simple like slant type of stuff.
Yep.
It seems like too many times like Lamar's targets to him are very high degree of difficulty.
Yeah, they are.
And I wish they'd find a better balance.
Right. I agree with that. You want to go to the Chiefs?
No.
I
want to mention the Raiders.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Let's go.
Because 2 guys have stood out to me. I got to see them. The Ravens game was kind of messy, so I didn't give them too much credit for that win.
Right.
But the Pittsburgh game, which I only watched because Philly was just getting destroyed
Yeah,
by the 49ers. That was bad.
it was.
Um,
Yeah, they looked really immature there in that
yeah,
game, which they are. But
and I forget that the 49ers almost always have an elite defense.
yeah, they almost were. I mean, they were the best team in football for like 2 years, or really close to it. They
Yeah,
were like Super Bowl favorites just 2 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah,
But no, this Pittsburgh game, dude, Derek Carr was legit.
yeah,
That was
he's that
an
dude.
MVP candidate performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never really I remember he had that MVP run that he got hurt and like they kind of just fell apart.
Yep.
Uh, but he's got a really quick arm, really strong arm.
Yep.
He doesn't miss throws like wildly also.
No, he doesn't.
And he's got a good feel for his receivers, man. Ruggs.
Yep.
He's got good timing with Ruggs. I mean, Darren Waller is developing into like a top 5 tight end.
Yeah, he is.
And I
He's
really
real
like.
nice.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah.
Also, another like just big target, good route runner.
Yep.
And Waller probably has more versatility than a lot of the best tight ends do because they use him as a receiver a lot of the time.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
But no, man, Derek Carr in this Pittsburgh game, and they protected him well, but not well enough where every throw he made was,
Easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he had to bomb it out a couple times. He had to really like hit deep routes very accurately.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that for pretty much the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I missed the first quarter, but the last 3 quarters, Derek Carr was essentially flawless, and Pittsburgh is no pushover.
Yeah.
So I was shocked, man. I was shocked at how good he looked because since that MVP year, he never really came close to that to me.
No, he didn't. And I think even after that, I think they struggled to kind of figure out who his help would be. Because they kind of had a team kind of misfits at the time, I think. And then now, like you said, with Waller, Ruggs, and even Renfro emerging as solid weapons. I mean, it's they got a squad.
And they're missing offense. The Pittsburgh game, they're missing the stud running back from last year, Jacobs.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs, they didn't even have him, and they still found a way to, kind of run the ball a little bit. Yep. But again, these are the games where when I pay my quarterback a lot of money, I want him to win games like this.
Yep.
And he went out there and was easily the best player on the field.
Yeah, and one thing special about that I've noticed about the Raiders this year is that the Raiders, they score. They go to score every quarter. Like they don't take any quarters off, which is a lot of teams do that I've noticed. Like 49ers here and there, but Pittsburgh specifically in this game, there'd be quarters where it's just like you had to try to figure out what they're doing. But Vegas, they're aggressive every single quarter. Like they take no breaks in the game, which is tough, especially for quarterbacks. They get down the field every single quarter, every game.
They look very balanced.
Yeah.
They're getting pressure on the opposing quarterback, which is something they talked about during the game. They don't really do very well for the last several years.
Yeah.
The weird thing was like looking back because his Carr's MVP year was with, I believe, Jack Del Rio.
Okay.
Who's an assistant somewhere, but John Gruden came in after that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a year or 2 after that. And
he's
never really like supported Derek Carr.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they brought in Mariota to kind of almost have a battle, like a QB battle.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Last year.
And just I remember when he first came in as a head coach, that was the one thing I noticed was he's like reluctant to acknowledge Carr as that's my guy.
Yep.
Like Dak Prescott's been Dallas's guy after the first 5 games.
Yeah. And I couldn't tell if it was mind games or if he was being serious. Gruden, I mean.
Yeah, with Gruden is tough to tell with stuff like that. But
yeah,
again, if he really wasn't buying into Derek Carr, that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Carr deserves to be this team's quarterback for a number of years moving forward.
Yep.
And I think he'll have them in a good place, assuming they'll continue to try to develop the team and kind of fix any issues they have.
I think they're going to be dangerous this year for the rest of this year. I mean, they look strong. They look pretty healthy.
Considering how rough the Chiefs have looked the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
And they're in the same division, so.
You saving them for last?
No, we can talk about them. I just wanted to touch on the Raiders before I forgot.
No, we can. Some teams I don't really have a lot to say about.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, by the way, just Big Ben sucks. That's it.
Great take.
I hate that Mike Tomlin is wasting like prime coaching years on Big Ben just not admitting it is time. And Pittsburgh has nothing. Yeah. Pittsburgh's quarterback situation is going nowhere.
Nowhere. And the thing is, they have, and for some reason, I don't understand this cycle with them and having good receivers and letting them just ruin their own careers. Or not just receivers, good players, and letting them just disappear off the face of the earth while they're on the Pittsburgh roster. Juju is just like, where is he?
He looks watching the Raiders game. He couldn't get open.
He's washed at like 26. What is he
doing?
But
it's crazy. It's crazy because like we talked about Hollywood Brown. Everybody knows he's the go-to guy, so we gotta lock him up.
Yeah.
So Hollywood Brown gets attention. All the top receivers get the attention to where if they get locked up, I'm like, I can credit the defense.
Yeah.
Dude, the Raiders didn't give a fuck about Juju Smith-Schuster, and he couldn't get open.
Hollywood Brown looks 10 times better than Juju Smith-Schuster does.
No, might be more than that.
It's just so bizarre. This is the fourth time I've noticed this happen in Pittsburgh, and we already know the other two.
I remember Mike Wallace. You remember Mike Wallace?
How long ago?
This was like right before Dez Bryant blew up with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's great for like 2 years and then retired like a year later or 2 years later.
Yeah.
I remember he went to Miami and did nothing, but like he was already doing nothing with Pittsburgh before he left.
Yep. Pittsburgh had a running back. He had a weird name. I think pretty sure he was African. He was a beast for like 3 years or 2 years in the playoffs.
Before Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah, right before Le'Veon Bell. And he was a monster.
Damn, I don't remember.
And then it was only in the playoffs he showed up, and then he just disappeared. Then they got Le'Veon Bell. We know what happened there. Got Antonio Brown. We know what happened there.
Oh, yeah.
And then now it's Juju is just dancing every game.
He sucks.
Yeah, he does.
That's my feedback. So like I said, Ben Roethlisberger sucks. Juju's right there with him.
Yeah.
And I mentioned Big Ben and his like off season, like his peak off season.
Yeah.
Listen, Roethlisberger, you don't wait till you're 15 years in the league to have your best off season.
Right.
It's too late.
Sweet.
You know what I mean? Like he's like as if like, yo, I didn't take stretching seriously. Now at 38, I'm ready, bro. I'm working on my body. I'm gonna eat right. Change. Like, yo, Ben, it's too late.
Yeah. And especially the eating, right?
Right.
So that ship has completely sailed.
Yeah.
We asked you to eat right like 10 years ago.
it's really bad watching Ben because one thing we used to praise him for was like how much of a cannon he has.
Yeah.
It's just all right. Offense is not working. Playground mode. You remember that playoff game where he was getting killed,
Yeah.
and he just threw like 5 touchdowns after they got killed.
Yep.
To kind of bring them back.
Yep.
I don't even remember who they played.
No, I don't either. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, man. Ever since he had the elbow, like the pitcher injury.
Yeah.
Tommy John surgery, I think it's called.
Yep.
He's just been he's incredibly washed.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's not subtle at all. Even like Peyton Manning his last year with the Broncos, they try to like make it look like he could still throw it down the field.
Yep.
Big Ben is throwing like little flag football passes down the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks awful.
He does. It was Rashard Mendenhall is who I was talking about. You remember him?
I remember him. Yeah.
He was a beast for like 2 years.
He was nice.
And then
such a short peak.
I don't understand what happened. He was killing them. I think he might have been on one of the Super Bowl teams. But anyway.
I wouldn't be surprised. But let's talk about the Chiefs.
Okay.
Sticking with the AFC.
Okay.
I mean, like Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. There's no question.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is the best burner in the league.
Yep, no question.
To be like what Deshaun Jackson was for Michael Vick for a second.
Yep.
And there's a number of guys who do it, but like Deshaun Jackson dominated for years doing that.
Yeah, he did.
And that was kind of the last guy who dominated. I can remember dominating with that kind of style with just speed.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Hill is like an upgrade.
Yeah,
over that.
He is because I mean the way he carries the ball also is just impressive.
And Deshaun Jackson, it was more about like the structure of like just Vic having a cannon of an arm.
Yeah.
And the structure of the offense was just to keep the defense honest.
Yeah.
Like if with Tyreek Hill, the defense could be as honest as possible and he'll still burn them down the field.
Exactly.
So he's just unstoppable. And then Kelsey, I mean, is there a better combo of QB and receiver than Kelsey and Mahomes?
No, it's not.
It's not. I mean, if Gronk keeps doing what he's doing, Jesus Christ, nobody's touching Tampa Bay in the playoffs.
Right. He's not going to.
Right.
We know that. We know he takes his breaks in the middle of the seasons.
Right.
Every year.
So, but Kelsey is just so dominant. And it's like we mentioned, it's so technical.
Kelsey
it's just top tier route running. Kelsey,
Mahomes, and Hill might be the best trio ever in football, honestly, on the same team.
They're up there, man.
Because I can't think. I mean, I'd have to go back to like the 90s Cowboys, maybe, or maybe not the
back-to-back Broncos.
Yeah, something like that to have, I mean, a better trio of like talent. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the Rams in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm. They had
like Falk and Warner, but I don't really remember like a specific number one receiver.
Right.
So, and that was, an eternity ago. But
again,
I agree with all that. One of the greatest trios ever. But I've watched football long enough to know if you can't stop the run, even with the greatest quarterback of all time, which Mahomes is on his way to be, you'll find a way to lose games.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
In the Baltimore game. I mean, it's almost like they're inviting Baltimore to run the ball.
Yep.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
And doing with Baltimore, I mean, I guess that could be the game plan, thinking they have everybody hurt, but you can't let that guy run the football.
Exactly. And the linebackers are just like in no man's land.
Yeah. And then when you let the quarterback run the football, then it, causes all kinds of other issues because now you got to worry about him running and him passing. And then, it's just a mess. I don't understand what the game plan was there.
And it's like, I just don't like that they never committed to taking anything away.
Nope.
You're not really stopping Lamar, but you're also not covering guys that well.
Right.
So that to me, in week 1, the Browns were just, the Browns were bullying them for 2.5 quarters.
Yeah. The Browns had guys I didn't even know were on the team eating in that game.
Credit, Baker's good at like building quick chemistry with random receivers.
Yeah, he is.
But again, it's like you're not committing to stopping anything.
Right.
So if you're planning on building a dynasty, it's not a good structure to just set up Mahomes to be the best player on the field and rely on that.
Right.
And
you can't win with only offense.
You can't win with the highlights.
No, you can't.
And I think this is the first year where they seem to be slipping into the like, oh, Mahomes, we don't got this going. Just, I need another 100 yards.
Right.
And I'm a little worried about them keeping him protected.
Right.
So, again, I don't think they're going to be in that much trouble where they're like struggling to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to hit a stride sometimes.
Right. They're going to win like 8 straight at one point for sure.
Yeah.
But
at least 6.
The thing I'm worried about is the division is getting better.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this year we don't feel it because the Chargers still aren't there yet.
Right.
But the Broncos are looking really strong.
Yep.
Raiders are getting much better.
Raiders look good. Yep. And the Chargers are still dangerous. They could beat anybody on any given night. Yeah.
Exactly. So now those 6 division games where it was like a breeze, which by the way, playing the Raiders was never a breeze for the Chiefs.
No.
But it's only going to get tougher if they're going to keep slipping like they are.
Yep. And all of the AFC has had pretty good drafts the last 2 drafts.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of talent in football right now.
There is. Yep, there is. There is. All right, let's get some of these terrible teams out of the way. Dolphins look terrible. What do you think about Mac Jones so far? Anything worth saying?
I haven't really seen the rookies much.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Mac Jones, though, from the clips I've seen, he's the only one that's even remotely put in a position to succeed.
Yeah, I agree.
Lawrence, they're like forcing him to be Brett Favre.
Yeah, they've definitely fed him to the Lions, and just said, "Yo, you got this." Just
yeah, which I think is better for Lawrence's long-term future. Because he'll kind of have the growing pains, so he'll be a little more motivated.
Yeah.
And so I think like that's not a disaster of a situation. And the Jaguars suck.
Yeah.
In my lifetime, the Jaguars have never, other than that one AFC championship run, they've sucked. They even sucked in that AFC championship game.
I know that run was like George Mason making it to the Final Four that year. It was like
with Blake Bortles at quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who cares?
Blake Bortles hasn't been good before or since.
Yeah.
No, but like again, the Jaguars have always been bad. I think Urban Meyer is a trash NFL coach. And it's going to continue to show if they allow Trevor Lawrence to keep looking like this.
Mm-hmm.
But what's much more of a disaster to me is the fucking Jets. Dude, like at least the Giants like fight and lose.
Now you're going to give Zach Wilson a chance?
It's not his fault, but no,
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, it's the whole franchise is a disaster.
it's such a disaster, man. I
He's
thought
putting up good numbers. Wilson is decent.
you know, I'm not really too concerned. I think all the rookies will have a chance to put up numbers.
Yeah.
Especially later in the year, they'll probably all take turns having big games.
Yeah.
But the Jets, the structure is just not there.
No, it's not. And the reason why I say he's putting up good numbers is because I'm giving the rest of the team he has. It's not.
Have you ever looked at the Jets and said like, "Oh, this quarterback has weapons"?
No.
Never. In my entire life, I've never seen them like that.
No, me either.
So what is the point of getting a quarterback every other year or every 3 years, and then not even giving them anything to succeed with?
Since Sanchez, they've been doing that. Basically.
Like again, you had a top tier defense.
Yep.
It wasn't Sanchez who took you to the back-to-back AFC championships.
Right.
Sanchez just fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's since then, new quarterback. I don't know a single one of their receivers.
No, me either.
All they do is scoop up guys who like finish their prime on their current team.
Yeah.
It's like it's such a disaster.
That with Brett Favre too.
And Tim Tebow for a second.
Right.
But at least they were smart enough not to play Tim Tebow.
Brett finished his second prime before they got him. He had 2 primes before they picked him up.
He had like a whole Minnesota prime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jets is just it's actually no positives I can really say about the Jets as a franchise.
I have positives from the Giants every time I watch them. And they lose almost as much as the Jets do.
Jets tickets are $18.
Wow.
Well, that's for the Cincinnati game.
You could be unemployed and afford Jets tickets. That's how bad it is.
You can afford Jets tickets with 1 hour of work.
Yeah.
Most places, 2 hours of work, you can go to a Jets game. That's so crazy, man.
I don't even know. Like, I thought it was a good coaching hire, but just seeing what a disaster they are, no individual could fix this.
No.
I don't know what needs to happen. I mean, at this point, shit, you might as well relocate.
They need a complete off-season haul of just actually just putting the money into just saying, hey, we're just going to pick everybody up. Everybody we see, we're just going to pick them up and we're just going to figure it out. That's better than what they do now, thinking that they have this puzzle piece that they're going to force into the spot and say, okay, or like this Rosetta Stone, we're just going to keep starting and just saying, oh, they're just going to fit into whatever we got with this one piece. No, they just need to get like just like LeBron's teams normally do. The Lakers just grab all the talent you can and let's just figure it out once the season starts. That's just, it's proven to be a better strategy as far as building franchises in the NFL. Period.
Yep.
So,
and you look at how well Darnold is playing in Carolina.
Eating
in Carolina is like the opposite of the Jets because they're not like a highlighted franchise, I would say.
No,
but they're well structured, well coached, disciplined. They have a culture,
and they pick up good pieces.
Exactly. When the opportunity is there, they'll sign 2, 3, 4 guys and pay a lot of money to all of them.
Exactly.
They'll draft like the star linebacker if the opportunity presents itself.
Yep.
The Jets, you can't even really look at their draft picks the last 5 years and see any kind of direction.
No, there is none.
Nothing.
There's
so I feel really bad because Zach Wilson was like the biggest question mark
Yep.
So now they kind of have a built-in excuse of like, well, he was a wild card, so turns out he sucks.
Yep.
But again, he could be one of these quarterbacks who doesn't even get another chance because y'all make him look so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Rosen came to Arizona, and we haven't seen him since.
No.
Because Arizona was a mess when he was there.
Yep.
And he might suck. He probably sucks. But we didn't even really get to find out.
Right. You're right.
Because I do remember he was on Miami, and I think Fitzpatrick beat him out. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Speaking of Arizona, man, Kyler Murray is legit. Like, I mean, he was legit last year, but he looks crazy this year. Like, he looks like he's mad this year. Like, he's eating.
Dude, Arizona looks scary.
They do.
Holy
Absolutely.
shit.
I mean, he looks crazy,
stacked.
Dude. They do. They do.
And dude, something about the way he runs is so unique.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's such an elusive runner, if that makes sense.
When he starts running, he really looks like a running back, like a good running back when he starts running. But it, like you said, it is weird because it doesn't look like someone who's trained as a running back, but it definitely doesn't look like a quarterback. Like when Lamar runs, he looks like a quarterback running, but Kyler looks like a running back playing quarterback. It looks like the opposite.
Yeah, he looks like a speedster running back.
He does.
It's really unique, and
he runs a little bit like Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah,
this quick.
I do think he does look angry and really locked in.
Yeah.
But dude, Arizona has done such a good job of for the last for 3 straight off seasons, they've just been adding weapons.
Yep.
On both sides.
Yep.
And now with JJ Watt on defense, you already have talent. The safety, Buda Baker looks like one of the better safeties in the league.
Yep.
And then Hopkins, I mean, their offense was stacked last year to me.
Yeah, it was.
So, dude, I think the only drawback I think is they have the toughest division in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't, like last year, they started off not this hot, but they were winning a good amount.
Yeah.
And then they had like a 3-4 game losing streak and were gone.
Yeah.
They can't afford to have a 3-game losing streak this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if my memory's right, it's the Seahawks.
Yep.
We know they're not going anywhere.
Yep.
The Rams, who we could talk about in a little bit.
Look great.
And the 49ers, who are never an easy win.
Right. Very consistent.
Right. So
I will say about the Seahawks, since we probably won't talk about them much.
I haven't seen their games.
They look a little stale to me. Like when I say stale, I mean they look a little bit they need to shake things up a little bit, I think, as a roster. Not anything crazy. But Metcalf and Russell are still great. But it's like watching them, it looks like a team who's been together too long. You know how some of those teams look sometimes?
I see I kind of feel what you mean. Like they look more predictable than a lot of other teams with weapons like they got.
Yeah, they do. They do.
It's similar to kind of what the Ravens are getting to.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe kind of are at this point, but I do agree that the Seahawks are more predictable than you would expect.
Yeah.
Especially with such talent.
It's almost like they could have traded up high in the draft and got maybe like another young, talented, a young talent on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Just to keep defense on their toes. Because like you said, they do look predictable for sure.
It's tough though, because you remember Wilson had a problem with them in the offseason.
Yeah, he did.
And
'Cause
they resolved it. I'm not really sure how, but
they were questioning if he was going to leave.
right. I
Yeah.
think they got somebody for him. I haven't seen their games yet, so I don't know if it's like a specific weapon or if it was maybe like a lineman just to protect him a little more.
Yeah, I haven't noticed as far as weapons go, but and I
But I'm
only caught
not,
some of their game.
yeah, I'm not like off of them completely. I think if they could walk into the playoffs with a consistent defense,
Yeah,
they're just as dangerous as any NFC competitor to the Tampa Bay.
I agree. I agree. Yep. Okay, let's get to the Rams.
I mean,
Trade of the year.
easily,
Yeah.
and I've never seen such a like obvious move to make, and they made it.
Yep.
I mean, Goff. You know what Goff's problem is, man? That fucking Chiefs game all
Yeah.
those years ago when he again, the Chiefs defense hasn't been good at that point or since.
Right.
So can we now please acknowledge that that game was fluke as hell?
It was
Goff
great
is,
game, but it's still fluke.
yeah, one of the greatest games ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the narrative after that game was we have a quarterback who could compete in a shootout with Mahomes. Are you kidding me? He sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, I've never watched Jared Goff and said, "Oh, that's a really good quarterback right there."
Nope.
Never.
No.
The only time he's sustained success was when Todd Gurley had 2 working knees.
And he was, top 5 in the league.
Right.
Yeah.
As soon as Todd Gurley's career started declining, Goff looked like a trash can.
Yep.
And I hate that he's had enough positives that he's not considered a bust.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's a fucking bust.
Yeah.
Because he's a number 1 pick. I've never seen anything that I'm like, holy shit. I see Kyler Murray, when he runs, I'm like, oh, this is a number 1 pick.
Yep.
When he throws a dot to DeAndre Hopkins while like sprinting the opposite direction, I'm like, oh, that's the number 1 pick.
Yep. Yep.
What can you say about Goff that's like, oh, he's really talented? Nothing.
No. He just throws a lot of bombs. That's it.
Yeah, and he's never since that Chiefs game, he's never looked good throwing the ball a lot.
No.
I mean, I just watched Dak Prescott do it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be like Mahomes or Rodgers. You don't have to have the greatest arm to look good throwing a lot.
No, you don't.
But you have to be a smart quarterback. You have to understand how the game is going.
When to take chances and when not to.
Right. And Goff has never had that.
And that's what Matthew Stafford is elite at. I mean, he's just so much more controlled.
And Matthew Stafford is explosive.
Yes.
Matthew Stafford was a loser for a decade, and we still could tell how explosive and talented he was.
Yep.
Anytime the Lions even sniffed success was because he was playing just at an unbelievable level.
Yep.
Goff couldn't touch Matthew Stafford if Stafford had his throwing arm tied behind his back.
Yep.
So it's like such an obvious upgrade. I'm shocked there was even any conversation about it in the offseason.
No.
I would have laughed at the Lions as I'm making the deal. Like, are y'all sure? If I'm like if I'm the GM and I like know the GM,
yeah,
I would like troll him like, yo, are you sure, bro? You know, I'm ripping, like I'm really ruining your franchise here. What's left of it.
Yep.
Lions said full steam ahead.
And he got Cooper Kupp looking super legit already.
Yeah, and
Like,
he's good. Cooper Cup has shown me that he's good,
yeah, he's good. Yeah,
but Goff never like consistently made him look good.
exactly.
Matthew Stafford 2 games and he's already doing it.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's really, as far as the other Rams stuff goes, like they still look really good.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a talented roster for years.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
It's not like they haven't collapsed since the Super Bowl. They've just
Yeah.
had a shitty quarterback who's finally been exposed.
Yep.
I mean, every time I think that he's a number one pick, I'm like sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence already showed me more than Jared Goff has. And Trevor
I'm
Lawrence
not mad
hasn't
at
played
that.
well.
Justin Fields is showing me he has more
I don't
potential.
know. I'm not going that far.
No. He is. I said he has more potential than Goff. That's
Yeah,
it.
100%.
The little bit I saw in Justin Fields, I'm way more excited to see
Dude,
what he does than I am.
I can make a case for practically every starting quarterback in the NFL having more. I saw more from Taylor Heineke in just that Tampa Bay playoff game.
That's true.
And he's looked pretty good the first 2 games, by the way. But
remember last year there was someone else that got hurt in the playoffs. There was another backup. I forgot what team it was for though.
Was it Alex Smith?
No, did Tannehill get hurt in the playoffs last year?
I don't think so.
Man, there was another backup last year that helped try to save a game. I can't remember now. I'll probably remember later, but I wanted to know what happened to him. I don't remember what team it was. Might have been, for some reason I thought it was Tennessee, maybe not. But anyway, I didn't know the Rams had Sony Michel until he started playing this year. I didn't even notice that pickup. Yeah. I thought he played. I thought he played great for New England. They didn't really give him a chance after he was eating for like that first year and a half or so.
New England churns out I don't know about talented running backs, but something about their discipline makes running backs really good.
Yeah.
And and it shows with Sony Michel for sure.
Yeah, because at first, I think it was Tom's last playoff year there, right? I mean, he was great. I think it was his rookie season. He was killing them.
I don't know about rookie, but he's young.
Yeah, I think it was his rookie season that year. But
yeah, you might be right.
All right. Who's next? Got any more teams you want to talk about?
Well, the Eagles. Let's mention the Eagles real quick. I forgot to tell you, by the way, after that Falcons game, great game, but it is the Falcons.
He needs some help, man.
For sure.
He can't only have rookies out there to throw to. It's just is not.
That's what bothered me. I ranted about it all the time with Wentz last year.
Yeah,
it's Wentz was so bad that the whole focus was, oh my God, Wentz sucks.
Yeah,
like, dude, his number one receiver late in the year was a guy who went from a quarterback to a receiver.
Yeah,
I mean, that tells you all you need to know,
right? Yeah.
So in these like fake, like these limited offenses that get to torch Atlanta and the bottom tier defenses.
Yeah.
All you got to do is take away the top tight end.
Yeah.
And the 49ers, Goddard couldn't do anything.
Nope.
And all of a sudden it looked like Jalen Hurts was looking at an empty field.
Yeah, they didn't let Devontae Smith get going either.
Right.
Yeah, and he had a great first game, but
yeah, he did.
I mean, think about it. Devontae Smith had the great first game. Second game, the leading receiver was Quez Watkins, who's in his second year. So he had a first year player and a second year player lead in
Yeah,
yards first two games.
that's what I was saying all last year is they're stacking the field with practice squad guys. And
Yeah,
then when dudes drop 5 touchdowns and then Wentz throws 2 picks, they're like,
right.
yo, Wentz is trash.
Yeah, and the
And
thing
he
is,
is. But it's like, yo, like you got guys dropping like wide open touchdowns. What is a quarterback supposed to do?
saying that and then saying, and he is hilarious.
I mean, he is. He's proven it.
He is, but and the thing is, Hurts doesn't seem as bad because Hurts still does something. Like it's like
Right.
when something was going wrong, Wentz was still throwing it up there. Like no one's
Like he's
catching
got
it.
talent down the field. Like you don't, my guy.
Yeah, and he was still just throwing it to nobody. At least Hurts, Hurts, they were having a rough time receiving. He gets 82 rushing yards. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make something happen, make plays happen. Wentz did not make plays happen. He's like, yo, you're not catching this. I know you're not going to catch it, but you're still going to get
I'm
this
still gonna
target.
throw you this dot and then you'll drop it so I can throw a pick next play
Right, exactly.
or
And,
fumble.
and he get blitzed and he just throw the ball straight up in the air. And then, it'd be pick
Yeah.
sixes. So
Yeah.
the good thing is Hertz doesn't do that. So obviously they're moving in the right direction. And obviously they're a young team. So they're playing 49ers. We know how the 49ers play. They very controlling on both ends.
Very physical.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the Cowboys and Eagles game.
Yeah, I was gonna say this has a big I have big expectations for how this game like pushes the rest of the division to play out.
Yeah. This is definitely a division defining game for both teams. See where they stand.
Yeah, and these are easily the 2 best teams in the division.
Yeah.
And Philly is not that good.
Exactly.
But Washington,
Giants.
I watched the opening night game for Washington because I was kind of excited. They had a nice roster.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's not going to look like Arizona, obviously.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Washington within the next 2 years all of a sudden is really good.
It's possible.
A lot of young defensive talent. McLaurin is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a couple other guys who are like better than I thought on offense. So if Heineke really could play like he's been playing, I think they'll be all right.
So they're moving forward with Heineke as the starter forever.
Yeah, for this year, yeah. You had to see that first game.
No, I saw the highlights.
Fitzpatrick was out there looking mediocre, and then Heineke comes in. All of a sudden, they're moving the ball like easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We will see.
Heineke's not that bad, dude. He's better at throwing the ball than I thought he was.
Yeah.
He's delivered some dots, some accurate throws, some good time throws to guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He looks pretty good. He does. He looks like he had a really good offseason too. He looks stronger.
Yeah.
He looks good.
He's just like his stature is small. I didn't think he had like the Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray build.
Yeah.
And those guys, you have to be like, those guys are so elite to overcome that.
Yeah, because I definitely thought he was smaller than 6 foot. I mean, 6'1". I thought he was 5'10" guy, the way he looked last year when he had to come in.
He doesn't look like a 6 foot guy.
No, he doesn't.
Let's see. Speaking of teams that are struggling, the Bills. Well, that Miami game is light work, but
yeah, Miami probably won't win a game this year. Not more than 3. I'll give them 3 max.
They'll like strap a couple teams and get a dub.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they've always found they've always had a really elite defensive performance in like December.
That's fair.
But the Bills, I didn't hear enough of this because there's some bad performances in week 1.
Yeah.
But I also honestly I thought the 2 worst quarterback performances were in the same game.
Between the Bills and the Dolphins?
No. Bills, Pittsburgh, week 1.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Speaking of, I mentioned like quarterbacks can look good throwing the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not Josh Allen.
I told you last year, man.
Hey, you looking more and more correct.
I told you what the problem was. If he can't hit Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen is trash. I shouldn't say trash, but he's definitely not, where they have him as far as like this up and coming elite threat. If Stephon Diggs is in there, I'm sleeping on Josh. Like
what bothers me
sleeping.
is again, Pittsburgh is a good test. They're like a borderline playoff team. They'll probably slip away later in the year, but they're not an easy win, especially defensively.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
Like you were right to a T in week 1 because every time he threw to Diggs, it looked like a good throw, good read.
Mm-hmm.
And any other person that he threw the ball to, oh my God, it's not like guys are dropping it or like the defense was getting their hands on it. And I talk about this in basketball. It's okay to miss short or long. That's that's an easy adjustment.
Yeah,
you're missing left or right. Something's wrong with your jumper.
Right.
It's okay to overthrow or underthrow a guy.
Yeah.
When I don't even know who you're throwing it to because it was so inaccurate.
Yeah.
You look bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, the game, nobody can move the ball. And the Bills said, yo, Josh, start off your MVP campaign.
Yep.
50. I completely understand Dak having to throw 50 times.
Yeah.
There was no need. They averaged like a lot of yards on their runs.
Singletary was averaging 6.5 per run. Like that's
Josh Allen
game.
threw it 50 times.
He was having a great game. Singletary was, yeah.
I'm having a meeting with the coach after that. Like, yo, I never want to see this shit again.
30 for 51.
And again, those 21 incompletions were disgusting.
They were. They were, man.
Oh
It almost looked like he was just throwing it not to get intercepted because they were just no one was there. Like sometimes
it was like the tale of two opposites because everything Allen threw was like a rocket.
Yeah.
And everything Big Ben threw was like a little like a tap throw, like a little soft drop off throw.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
It was so ugly, man. And I didn't see the full game, but I saw most of the second half.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sitting there in disbelief. I seriously think the Bills wanted to force Josh Allen to be an MVP candidate.
I mean, the Bills might be believing the hype, man. I mean, I
hope not.
The media has hyped Josh Allen up so much just because, like I said, Stephon Diggs has had good games and he can run. I mean, Allen can move. He can move a little bit, but God forbid Stephon Diggs gets hurt this year, like hurt bad. Bills maybe win 2 games without him this year if he gets hurt, maybe. But
yeah, I'm curious.
He's there for now. So
they're an interesting team because I think they could get either much better or much worse as the season progresses.
Yeah.
But I don't like that. I don't know which direction it's gonna be.
How old is Cole Beasley now? Oh, 32.
It's gotta be up there.
32. Yeah. Yeah. He's almost done.
They need an upgrade. They need a security blanket.
They do.
They need a tight end who could be available. Just can my guy get some easy completions, please?
Yeah.
And again, I don't know how much. I haven't really studied it or seen it enough to know how much of it is him versus just the weapons being available to him.
Yeah.
But if he could deliver rockets that are accurate to Stephon Diggs, I feel like he could throw to tight ends.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, or even if he had another receiver that was like kind of how Hollywood Brown was his first year, where it's like, yo, I'm looking around, I don't see anybody. Oh wait, there's whoever it is, and then just someone to get it to. That's those like lucky open guys.
Yeah.
Even if he has something like that, that would be nice. I mean, he doesn't even have something to that level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Beasley used to be that when he was younger. That used to be his game. Like it would be like nobody's open. Oh, there's Cole Beasley. There he is.
Yeah.
You know?
He had that. He had a good Wes Welker vibe.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Those like small slot receivers that are just very technical.
Yep. Welker. Welker was a beast, man.
Oh yeah, he was elite.
By the way, random shout out to Jeremy Shockey, man. I used to love Jeremy Shockey. Hope he's doing all right wherever he is. But we were talking about the tight ends. It's like, man, Shockey was that.
He was a
dude,
fun
man.
tight end, yeah.
No matter where he was always, always a weapon.
Facts.
Always dangerous. Real quick about the Dolphins, they they got lucky, in my opinion, playing New England, because obviously we talked about New England's young, they're figuring things out, kind of a weird situation, and Tua had a pretty good game, but it just they're another team that to me is kind of similar to the Jets as far as a lot of the team is kind of just all over the place on offense, at least. But the defense, like you said, the defense is good. Tua looks pretty good, but
that's where I'll give them a step up over the Jets. Is their defense? They've been consistent enough defensively to where I could consider it establishing a culture.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
They're a team that I think I just don't think Tua was the savior they're looking for.
That's how I feel too. For sure.
He's good, but he's not carrying you if you can't protect him.
Yeah, he's definitely not franchise changing in my opinion.
Right.
He's kind of like well, I won't say that, but yeah,
he's
not
franchise changing. I never saw that
to
out of him, by the way. I always thought his accuracy was going to keep him around in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But I never looked at him as like put the franchise on his back kind of guy.
No, me either. Me either. All right. Anybody else? What about the Saints?
Oh yeah. I was gonna talk about the team they demolished week 1. It's not a football season if the Packers aren't getting destroyed at some point.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, that pissed me off, especially because you come out and you dominate the Lions like you're an NFC contender.
Yep.
But against Jameis, you suck in every way.
Every way. And Jameis wasn't even that great.
No, he just didn't take risks.
And he still had 2 interceptions. But yeah, he could have had more.
Yeah.
Normal Jameis would have more.
The Packers, man, we've established this. I don't even think it was last year. It was probably the year before. They're soft.
Yeah, they are.
They're soft, and it's a direct reflection on the shitty characteristics that Aaron Rodgers displays every time something's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same issue I had with Big Ben for years. Is the accountability is everywhere but on you.
Yeah. And oh, go ahead.
You're the quarterback. I've seen quarterbacks take accountability when receivers couldn't catch the ball the whole game.
Yeah, man. That's always been my thing with him is we this, we that. Bro, you just didn't play good, man. I mean, it's just it's okay.
When it comes time for your respect or like you to get paid or you to like be involved in the organization's decisions. I did this. I like had 3 straight great years.
Yeah.
Or I had like I was declining, but then I had an MVP year. Like,
Yeah.
I don't hear that energy when the Tampa Bay demolishes you guys.
Right. And then, I mean, this game is just, and I was talking about Jameis overall this season. He's had 2 interceptions, and he's been way more shouldn't say accurate, but like you said, he hasn't been taking the same chances we've seen him take in the past. He looks like he's trying to really adjust to being a starting quarterback.
Yeah, I'm curious. I think I could see MVP potential from him if the Saints give him like a number of years to get comfortable.
I agree.
Because I think moving forward, they're gonna open up his arm and let him take some of those risks.
Yep.
Which I think the Saints are explosive enough to allow that.
Yep.
And I'm not really mad at them for losing. I'm more impressed with Carolina's win.
Yeah, me too.
Than I am with them losing, because Carolina's never been an easy win.
And they look great. I mean,
right.
we talked about them a little bit, but they look great.
Right. But as far as the Packers, man, you know, I'm curious who's going to destroy them in the divisional or the championship game.
Somebody is. By the way, when Jameis gets
Tampa Bay,
when Michael Thomas gets 100% too, we'll see what Jameis does when they get Thomas back. But
yeah, I don't know if they're scheduled, but if they play another bad defense within the next with one of the first games, Thomas comes back.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, it might get ugly.
Whew. 5 touchdowns was a lot, but the yardage wasn't that crazy.
No, it wasn't.
Jameis might throw in a rushing touchdown.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree. I like how he's trying to improve on his issues.
Yeah. Back to Green Bay. You said you're curious to see who destroys them next. Somebody will. Somebody.
I'm so happy for the Rams now because, like, now I'm looking at the playoff potential matchups.
Mm-hmm.
And now, before it was Aaron Rodgers versus Jared Goff. Like, you're starting off with a losing, note in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Or Jared Goff versus Tom Brady. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying, obviously, Matthew Stafford is not on those guys' level.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, I've seen Matthew Stafford be able to outplay anybody.
Yeah.
On any given night, Matthew Stafford could outplay Aaron Rodgers. He could outplay Tom Brady.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though Jared Goff did it once or twice, I never believed in it.
Mm-hmm.
Stafford 2 games in makes me believe it.
And sometimes, kind of Jared Goff was the quarterback on a team that outplayed the other team more than
100%.
Him outplaying the
100%.
other quarterback. Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. NFC, it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, both are, but the NFC definitely has made the bigger shakeup moves, and it's kind of an in-between year or a transitional year as far as the older quarterbacks are getting kind of washed. And then the newer quarterbacks are definitely stepping up and looking good. So,
yeah. 2 teams we kind of forgot, but I don't have too much to say because they're another like teams that I want to see more of.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings are 0-2, but both really heartbreaking losses.
Yep.
And clearly they've shown that they're way better than their record.
Yeah.
The Vikings still look like a team that could beat anybody.
Yep.
And the Titans, who were caught off guard by Arizona's just dominance.
Yep.
But Derrick Henry got right back to it week 2.
Yeah. I wonder how long they're gonna, try to do this Tannehill thing. It's, He's getting old, obviously.
That's if Tennessee's remains good, they're gonna
Yeah.
have the same problem as I just said with Jared Goff.
Yeah.
You going in against Mahomes, and it's Patrick Mahomes versus Ryan Tannehill.
And Tannehill,
Even Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen.
yeah, exactly.
That's I Ryan Tannehill does not give me confidence going against those guys.
No. And kind of how I said about Wentz, not that they're same level up, but with Tannehill, it's like he's not going to be the guy who makes the play. I mean, he'll do it every once in a while. Sometimes he gets lucky, but it's not like, yo, Henry's not getting it going. We can't find Julio. Let's go, Ryan. Do something. Pull something out.
Yeah.
It's not his game.
Dude, personally, I never thought like he had the good stretch at first, and I gave him credit for that because he was like making good decisions, executing the offense.
Yeah.
I never thought Ryan Tannehill was a good quarterback.
No, me either.
And the thing is, every time I've seen him succeed, it's play action you to death.
Yep.
A lot, dude. Every quarterback, Jared Goff could succeed if you could run the ball. Like I said, Todd Gurley.
Yeah. I mean, dude, there's guys who just have not been known for their arm at all. But if you have a good running game, they're going to look all right.
Right. Or if you protect them well.
Yeah. Cam Newton is one of those.
Cam Newton. Kirk Cousins has done it.
Cam will probably dominate with Tennessee, honestly. I don't know about right now, but, even like 60% of MVP Cam would be dominating with Tennessee right
100%.
Yeah.
But no, again, Tannehill has never he's never just been good when the odds were against him.
Exactly.
And when I see again Goff, I saw it, so he gets some credibility for some time. Again, we've had enough time. Now we know he sucks. Carson Wentz is the same thing.
Yep.
Maybe Carson Wentz has the rest of this year. But again, with Tannehill, we've seen enough, I think. We know what he is.
Yeah. I've definitely seen enough.
More than enough.
And this is one thing I don't like about Vrabel. This is just personally. It almost seems like he's trying to force Tannehill to almost prove people wrong. Be like, yo, I could still we could still get it done with Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. Same vibes I got from Buffalo week 1. I completely agree.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, it's okay. You can admit, yo, I was wrong. He's not ready. He's not ready to take this team to the next level. I don't know how you have Derrick Henry, playing his heart out every night, as the best running back in the league, and then you have Ryan Tannehill out here just losing the games. Well, I'll say second best running back in the league. Sorry to Christian McCaffrey, but
Henry is ridiculous, dude.
He is.
McCaffrey is just more versatile. I don't think he's a better specific runner.
Right.
Because Henry, as soon as he breaks the line,
it's over.
Dude, cornerbacks look tiny next to him.
Dude, he's like Juggernaut in X-Men.
Oh yeah, just running through walls.
And remember, his thing is if he gets momentum, he's unstoppable.
Right. Oh yeah,
that's how Henry is. Once he gets that going, it's over. It's over, and you can't stop him. So yeah, so I don't I hate when teams waste someone like that's prime with a quarterback that can't hang.
Yeah, man. Again, the Rams making this Stafford for Goff move should be I almost hope they have a Super Bowl winning run this year, because that's going to make I hope that makes a lot of these closer teams that, again, Tannehill, we need to upgrade the quarterback.
Yeah.
If an opportunity presents itself, you got to go for it.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's out there, man. I know Watson is still looking for a home. If Watson came to Tennessee, it would be
Over.
scary. Yeah,
Over.
I think it would be
The
a wrap
Chiefs are
for sure.
done. The Chiefs dynasty, adios.
Yeah,
Especially
they.
because the defense is slipping as hard as it is.
Yeah, it
I
would
mean,
be.
Tennessee's defense hasn't been great,
Mhm.
but I still have a lot better, expectations for it than I do the Chiefs.
Yeah, AJ Brown, Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, and Deshaun Watson. That'd
Bro,
be so crazy.
AJ Brown is like a Hollywood Brown type
Yeah,
to where if he gets a Deshaun Watson, if he gets a
yeah,
quarterback that'll rocket it to him enough,
yeah,
top easily a top receiver in the league.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know how they look at these options. I mean, and like I said, having Cam, if Tannehill doesn't come out next 2 games looking good, I'd sign Cam immediately. Just put him right into the starting lineup. I mean, it's just you got to shake it up. Like I said, some teams just need a shake up sometime because if they lose like maybe 3 or 4 more games, they're not gonna do anything in the playoffs.
No, they're not.
No, they need like a really good season to carry them into the playoffs. And if they come out slow this year, it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So
And you can't depend on your running back being the most physical player in the league to
right,
win games, every Sunday,
yeah, right, right,
which he is. But again, that just doesn't sustain.
yeah. And even then, you got to build on something for the next year. I
Right.
mean, we're just gonna do Tannehill till he runs out of gas, and then we have Henry past his prime by the time that happens. And then what do you do? Julio
Yep.
is at the back edge of his prime. So
Yeah. By the way, that is a good pickup. But looking at it now, and I was excited about it when they got him. I think you were too.
yeah, I was absolutely
Um, Tannehill isn't the you upgrade his weapons, he'll be great.
no,
He's
he's
not
not.
that guy. He's never
No,
been that guy.
nope, no,
And
he's
I'm
not.
kind of mad I didn't think about it in hindsight.
Yeah, but
But
I thought they were going to change. I thought they were going to do something at the quarterback. I said it last year. I'm like, yo, Tannehill's doing his thing, but like, cool, it's over. Like, I thought his time was up.
yeah,
I thought
looking
he was
at
just a placeholder.
Stafford could have walked in this team and
Oh,
taken them so much further.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, by a long shot.
Man, I think we're gonna look back in a year or two, probably at the end of this year, and just see how a lot of these teams missed out on Stafford.
Yeah.
And man, it's crazy. It's crazy that Stafford is that guy to kind of set a benchmark for how good your quarterback should be.
Well, the one thing about Stafford too, as far as the Goff trade goes, Goff was at the right height to get traded for him. Like me and you both agree, wasn't really close as far as Goff talent wise compared to Stafford, but he was on the right run to say, okay, well,
I
maybe
don't
that,
suck.
yeah, maybe it's not a terrible trade. Like a lot of these
And
other
it was.
teams, I wouldn't have done. Like I wouldn't have. No way I would have taken Tanner. I wouldn't even take Tannehill for Goff. You know what I mean? Like just based on last year, his stock was high enough. That's what I mean.
Last year, Tannehill shot over Goff, but prior to that, I agree with you.
Yeah, yeah. But then you look at what are you doing for the future? I'm not keeping Tannehill for more than a year or two. You
Oh
know?
yeah. No, I'm not trade. It's more so Tannehill isn't. If I'm looking for an upgrade over Goff, Tannehill ain't enough. That's
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
going from a 4 out of 5 to a 5 out of 5. That's not what I'm looking for,
Right. Yep.
or out of 10. Excuse me.
Right. Yeah. All right. I think we covered just about every team. I didn't see. Well, yeah, we talked about Wentz. Giants suck. Uh, Bears, they need Fields to be healthy.
Are
Bengals, I
you
haven't
giving?
seen.
Speaking of the Giants, real quick. Yeah, Bengals don't look awful, but I hope I get to see them in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But as far as the Giants, how much time are we giving Daniel Jones?
Bro, I didn't want Daniel Jones in the first place. He's been on negative time for me this whole career. Like I've been waiting for them to do something. I've been praying for what Deshaun Watson. Honestly, I don't care if he has to leave the league. Just give us 2 games on the Giants. Just give us something, anything but Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes is not it.
I'm sick of him. He'll like show every game that like, yo, I'm not a scrub.
He looks like a great backup.
And then he'll make like the one mistake or the 2 mistakes that everybody's like, yo, this is why Daniel Jones is not very good. He'll make it every week.
Yeah.
Like a clockwork. Important moment, I'll lose the ball, no problem.
Yeah. Him running out of gas.
That's gonna define him.
It's defining his career now. I mean, that's what he is. He just runs out of gas. He plays good for a little while and then it's over.
Yo, he was killing Washington on Thursday with the runs.
Yeah, he was.
I was like, what is this Michael Vick impersonation I'm seeing?
He was killing them. He looked great running.
Yeah.
Dude, he is a fire backup, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he would be top 7 backups in the league to me. But
I'll tell you, I'll take him over Tannehill with the Titans.
I would too.
Because he's not asked to do as much.
Yeah, yeah.
So now you could, if Vrabel can really coach like it seems, now we could coach him kind of what the Saints are doing with Jameis.
And Daniel is a make a play guy. The Giants
100%.
don't need that, but if all else is failing and you tell Danny Dimes, yo, just do something wild, he'll do something wild. But
yeah, he's a playground guy.
We don't need that in New York. That's the only issue. We need a lot more than
we
that.
Don't need it. New York doesn't need it start to finish. That's the problem.
Right. So he probably would be nice on the Titans. And like I said, I can't wait for him to be a backup when we get somebody else.
Yeah, I want to I'm going to save it, but I want to deep dive the Giants if their season continues on the trajectory it's going in probably like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Because this team has started like 0-5. It seems like multiple years straight.
Since Eli, I won't say since he left because that's only been like 2 years, but since that first decline in his career, since it was first shown that Eli was almost on his way out.
Yeah, dude, by the way, the Giants make me mad, I guess, while we're on this. They were like Eli's last 4 years. The Giants were like a glaring advertisement for like, please invest in an offensive line if you want to win games.
Mm-hmm.
And since Eli's been gone, they haven't learned the lesson.
No, yeah.
Daniel Jones still doesn't have good protection.
Bro, if we got a really good quarterback, like when Eli was on his way out, Giants would be right back in, being competitive because their weapons were great. We had elite weapons for a solid 5 years of us having losing records every year.
Yep.
But the weapons were elite. Like every year. And now, even now, they still good weapons. Kenny Galladay is getting old. Sterling Shepard is great. Obviously, we have Saquon. I mean, the weapons are great. We're good. But what's going on. It's the same thing. If we had a good transition, it would have been great. But
the Giants aren't a well-run organization to me.
Of course not.
Of course not. The New York curse strikes again.
Yeah. And just passing up on quarterbacks, man. We've already been accused of racism for passing up on great black quarterbacks over and over and over again. But I'm not
It's-
going to take it there today.
yeah,
But
I got you.
it's just ridiculous how many quarterbacks we just let blow by us, and we just keep getting sorry
But yet
excuses
Daniel
for
Jones at
backups,
number 6?
bro.
That is insane. I'll never, dude. I will never get over that for years to come.
I know, me neither, man.
Like you said, the racism, that's the topic for another day.
Yeah,
But
the
nobody gave a
blatant just
shit.
bad picks.
Nobody gave a shit about Daniel Jones except them.
No,
Like
he was on no one else's board.
he played at North Carolina, right?
Duke.
The other not football school in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Who looks for Duke quarterbacks as like, whoa, this is my franchise savior in the NFL?
Yeah.
I don't know history of football that well, but I don't know if any even like elite or good quarterback has come out of Duke to play in the NFL.
I'm pretty sure they haven't.
It's like so many times in football when there's a unanimous opinion about somebody,
Yeah.
it's right like 99% of the time.
Yep.
And when everybody said, yo, this guy is either is a nobody or a scrub, and the Giants said 6th pick, we got him.
First quarterback drafted that year.
Dude, did they not? If my memory serves me right, did they not have like a 17th or like a 20th pick that year?
Yeah, the 17th pick. Yeah, we got it. Defensive tackle.
He would have been. Daniel Jones would have been available in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
You wasting 1st round picks on a guy who can't hold on to the ball when he takes a sack.
Yep.
Tom Brady at 44 could take a blindside hit and hold on to the ball.
Yep.
But Daniel Jones can't do it.
Bro, it was just not a good year for quarterbacks. We really just shouldn't have taken a quarterback at all. Like, it was better off trading that pick and getting something else, because I mean, listen to the quarterbacks who were drafted that year. Obviously, Kyler Murray, great pick. Daniel Jones, Dwayne Haskins, Drew Lock, Will Greer, Ryan Finley, Jarrett Stidham, Easton Stick, Clayton Thorson, and Gardner Minshew. Those are the quarterbacks.
Gardner Minshew is the 2nd best quarterback out of those names.
Right.
Insanity.
So that tells you, why did we take a quarterback at all that year? It wasn't that serious. Like, it really wasn't that urgent. We didn't need him. I mean, we could have got anybody. We could have picked someone off the street to play. I mean,
it's weird.
Dwayne Haskins looked very good in college football that year, and Daniel Jones, Senior Bowl MVP. Come on, man. That's what we're doing.
Oh yeah, that was what put him on the draft board map.
Yeah, that's his claim to fame.
MVP. Oh my god.
Everybody has on this list I'm looking at, it has all the notes. Kyler Murray, Heisman Trophy winner, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Nick Bosa, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Next pick, Outland Trophy winner. Next pick, Hendricks Award winner. Next pick, Butkus Award winner. Next pick, Senior Bowl MVP. Everyone else had all these name awards.
I remember during this draft, they were talking about potentially maybe Haskins is just as good as Kyler.
Yeah.
Man, all those analysts were super wrong.
I wish we had gotten the dude who said bless you to himself. Quinnen Williams.
Yeah, he's probably the one bright spot the Jets have had.
I know, he is. Yeah, man. Enough about the Giants. They suck. The organization sucks. We're terrible drafters. It's just nothing else to it, man. We always have good offensive weapons, and we never have somebody to actually put it together.
Hey, y'all, your future, y'all gonna be talking about in 20 years how you contain Tom Brady. That's y'all shining moment.
There's no way. There's no way. There's no way we keep playing with Daniel Jones. There's no way. I don't believe it. They have to be seriously scouting another quarterback next year, or we're just going to give somebody random a chance this year.
I haven't noticed any like standout quarterback. I mean, I don't follow college too well, but I usually pay attention to like the top NFL potential guys.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really heard of any quarterback names that are like super locked in the being top 5, top 10 picks.
It's early. But I don't care, man. I'll take anybody at this point other than Daniel Jones.
Another guy who I could list off the majority of starting quarterbacks and pick them over him.
Yeah. Again, backup, great, solid. I mean, he's up there in the top 5 backups, potential wise, but yeah, let it go. It's over.
Yep.
No, we'll probably finish the year out and tank the year. Hopefully they just sit Saquon some games, last 5 games or so, because I don't want. Again, we're wasting prime of a top 5 running back in the league probably, and
he rushed to get back for y'all, and y'all suck in the way you are.
I don't know why he rushed to get back.
Sad.
I don't know whose call that was, but they should be fired. His trainer, our team trainer. No, take your time, Saquon. But anyway, I'm on football real quick. Did you see Canelo and Caleb Plant get into a fight at the press conference?
No.
Canelo said Caleb Plant said something about. I'm talking about boxing, by the way, for people who don't know. Caleb Plant said something about his mom, and Canelo pushed him really hard, almost pushed him off stage. Then Plant came back and punched him, and then Canelo slapped him. This is for their fight coming up November 6th for unification of the belts for their.
I know what to say if I'm trying to fight my opponent at the press conference. Clearly, talking about moms is a sore subject for a lot of guys.
Right. Like I don't know if he didn't think Canelo spoke English, or I don't know what he thought, but he's talking to Canelo like, I mean, all I know is this is going to be a good fight. I'm excited. Definitely made me excited. I normally don't get excited because of, for the press conference fights, but this is one. Canelo's my favorite fighter. Caleb Plant is really, really good fighter early in his career. It's going to be a good fight. November 6th on Showtime, I think. So,
yeah, you mentioned to mention another sport to kind of be excited for the future. Dude, US Open had me hyped for tennis.
Oh yeah, big time.
On both sides. I mean, the Djokovic's dominance has slowed down the next generation's approach into the sport, into the limelight of the sport. But on the female side, the young talent is just crazy.
It is.
I mean, dude, the 18 versus 19-year-old was such a crazy game.
Yep, fun to watch.
Yeah, and I'm noticing the guys who have been kind of stuck in the top 10 and haven't been able to push through in the past when Nadal and Federer and Djokovic were all going crazy.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of them feel like they have a much better chance of pushing through.
Yeah, and now even the young guys who have been there for a while, like Tsitsipas, Zverev, we talk about them all the time. Now, obviously Medvedev, they're stepping in. I mean, this looks like it's going to be another 4 or 5 guy, dominance in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
As
I
soon as
think
Djokovic is done, Medvedev, Tsitsipas, and Zverev are going to be winning some stuff because
that's what I'm saying.
they get to the semifinals every single
And I
tournament.
think Zverev is my favorite out of the three, slightly.
Dang, man, you can't even
Just,
support the homeboy.
I mean, he's great.
That's messed up. Zverev's your favorite out of the three.
I mean, just from what I haven't seen him a ton,
Yeah, no, I got
but
you. I'm just messing with you. He's
just
nice.
how he plays, man. I see a lot of the same, like the relentless returns.
Yeah,
He probably has that like quality the best out of those three.
yeah, he does. He does. He's tough. He has probably the most uh interesting game to him too. And I mean, these guys, why are they so tall, man?
Yeah,
And he's 6'6". Medvedev is what? Six? Is he 6'6" too?
I feel like he is.
Yeah, 6'6".
That's a weird trend, but yeah, I forgot to. I noticed that like one of the earlier rounds, like why are guys so tall now?
I don't know. It's weird. And CC Boss is 6'4".
Yeah, and it's like noticeable too.
Yeah, it
Like
is.
normally a 6'4", it's like okay, he's tall, but it's not like a standout tall.
Yeah.
But it just seems like all these guys are just way bigger now,
Yeah, they are.
just in
Yeah.
stature.
Yep. They it's a beautiful future for tennis for sure. For sure. As far as the women go, I mean, I think probably out of the top 10 best players that I've seen in recent times, probably 6 of them are under 24, under 25, 6 or
Yeah.
7 of them. So,
And it's just nice, man. Women's was stuck for so long with Serena being such a dominant player.
yeah.
And nothing to take away from her, but that gets boring.
Yeah, and we're kind of beyond the age of dominance in tennis because it is a lot of talent and it is a lot of it's a lot on your body now. I mean, it
Right.
always was, but I don't think before like every tennis player played every single tournament like they do now. It seems like guys, here and there wouldn't play in some, but now it's like all of them are always playing and always working out and always traveling, and it just seems like it's a lot on the body nowadays. But it's different. It's tough on the older people, obviously.
Yeah. And I think some of that may be like again, it's a little bit more balanced, especially in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So now missing time, you're guaranteed like the guy who's trailing you is catching up.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of the time now it's several guys that are trailing you are catching up.
Yep.
So if you're not hurt, you can't, if you want to keep your rank, you can't afford to take time off.
Also, another thing that's different, when we were younger, like in the early 2000s, people would retire pretty young. Like they weren't
That's
playing till
true.
they were 40 something. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
Agassi was like in the semifinals when he retired. Like he was still competing like at a high level when he retired.
Yeah.
And I remember his last match, him saying, him waving to everybody saying goodbye, is over. But he was still really, really good. And a lot of the other guys from that era, Roddick was young. James Blake played for represented the US for a while. He was really young. So there's a lot of guys who retired young. Now
Yeah,
it's like,
it was very early. Usually it was early 30s guys are getting out.
yeah, mid
Now
30s for sure. Yeah.
now it's much mid to late for sure now.
Yep. So
And guys like they don't fall off like they used to.
no, they don't.
They sustain that like peak for longer, it seems like.
And it's amazing that Djokovic has been in like every final for like the last 3 years. Or really close to it. His dominance has just been ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's something that we haven't seen that because he would beat Nadal or Federer to be in the finals, when they were playing. So no one else had that dominance.
Right.
So
I told you after even the loss, I was like, dude, he's just nobody. Most guys who dominate the sport, I still can make a case for why somebody could be put above them.
yeah.
Tom Brady and Novak,
Yeah.
Federer, I could make a case for Federer for a long time, but these last 2-3 years, I can't do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, people were way more competitive with Federer than people are with Djokovic. Like Djokovic beats the crap out of people, like good players.
Yeah.
Like obviously the guys first 2 rounds, Federer would destroy guys, but after that, Federer would be in some good matches. Now it's like Djokovic destroys everybody into the semifinals. It's like not even close. I think he's lost like 6 sets all year until the final, this last final.
Insane.
Yeah. Yep. It's definitely a bright horizon for tennis. I'm excited for the future. I hope, it's going to suck when Djokovic retires, but after that, we got guys coming for sure. Got new faces. Yep. They all have really bad attitudes, by the way, which I don't like. I'm not mad at with the intensity part, but it seems like a lot of the young guys are really, really
sensitive.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Really sensitive. Yeah.
I like the energy is a little more aggressive, like throughout the matches.
It is.
I like that.
Yeah, I do. Too.
I obviously like the what's the like if not the Kyrgios type shit.
Yeah, no.
That's literally too far.
Yeah.
But just a little competitive edge. That's always fun.
Yep. All right, man. We talked for a long time. Covered football. We had a lot to cover. I am pleased to announce that we will be splitting our music and movies portion of our podcast away from the sports, because there's been so many times where we've just been covering sports. So we are going to move to another podcast. I'll announce the name of that later. But for those listening to us looking for music, I will tell you next podcast where you'll be able to find us strictly talking about music and movies. And here we're going to stick to sports on the No Coup podcast. It's going to only be sports. So, anything else we got to say today?
No, man, we're back. Basketball season is not quite around the corner, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
So music is picked up, man.
Yes.
Officially, it wasn't just Drake and Kanye. I've liked some of the releases that have been coming out.
Yeah. And a lot of new, young faces in music as well coming up. Yeah. Real quick, I wanted to say we haven't recorded so long, man. We've had a really rough year losing some actors this year, man. It's been bad as far as deaths in Hollywood. I just announced that we're switching, going back and forth podcast, but rest in peace, Michael K. Williams, great actor. He's done a lot for the acting in the last 10 years, maybe. Probably even more than that. I don't know the guy's name from Sex and the City that just died yesterday. I didn't catch it. Do you know?
Man, I should, but no.
No, I don't know. But we lost a lot of actors. Just want to say rest in peace to all of them. I'm not gonna name all the names, but just it's been rough. Last 2 years have been really, really rough, obviously.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for listening. Subscribe. Stay tuned for our other podcasts soon to be announced. And we'll see you guys next time.